It is time for another episode of Good Things Brings as we get closer and closer to December and all of the good things fun. But to tide us over until then, today I've got a very special guest. We have Marcus from Northlane joining me. Marcus, thanks for hanging out today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You have just spent the past weekend doing a couple of shows. You had Tasmania and then kicking absolute ass at Froth and Fury Festival in Adelaide. The warmer months and festival season is tantalizingly coming to life for us Aussies here now, but looking ahead, 2024 is also not going to be your first time performing at Good Things Festival. How are you feeling to
Yes.
be a returning Good Things alumni this year and bust out some Aussie festival sets to close out the year?
It's exciting. I mean, good things is always a good time, as the name suggests. But I mean, it's just awesome also just to see so many like rock and heavy festivals thriving at the moment. So to be back and a part of it, it's it's awesome. There's a lot of awesome bands playing that I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
And I like that you touched on that because it's been amazing to see our Aussie acts this year thriving, not just at home, but overseas. Like being out and about in the wild away from Australia, what is the vibe like on Aussie heavy acts like right now? Are you getting the feedback that we're seeing here? Like, what is that feeling like for you guys on the other side of things?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of the last couple of tours we've done overseas, like a bunch of them have been Australian heavy artists. We were in the US with Thornhill and Wind Waker as well as Invent Animate. So it was like, it's cool to see our bands kind of dominating all over the place and doing really well. And it is something we've been hearing for years as well from fans and stuff that there must be something in the water in Australia. There's so many bands making it over, but there's a lot of awesome bands that just work really hard and write awesome music. So it's really cool to see.
Definitely. And I think that is the recipe that you hit on right there. It doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it, but it is very worth the end result. So we're very grateful. And Northlane obviously has some amazing music to choose from when it comes to crafting a set list in general, but you also recently busted out the new tune Welcome to the Industry. Now, I can't say the game name fast, so I'm going to say it slowly. Fretless, the
Yep.
Wrath. See, I already messed up. Fretless, the Wrath of Riffs an RPG game. And instantly, Northlane feels at home soundtracking a game that uses riffs to fight evil forces. But the song is just super fun. You've got plenty of riffs and chunky sounds. But how did this Guitar PG Northlane extravaganza come about?
Well, yeah, the creators of the game approached John initially, I think, to get into writing some of the instrumental stuff behind the game. But that kind of slowly snowballed into us writing like a full-fledged song and stuff that kind of reflected one of the characters being the kind of the main villain in the game Riffson, Rick Riffson. So yeah, we were kind of tasked with I guess having to write a song that was kind of from his perspective, kind of um yeah, kind of being a bit more like evil and not so caring of artists, I guess. So it was kind of an interesting thing to dive into. But yeah, we love kind of jumping outside of just our own kind of realm of music and kind of taking ourselves a little bit less seriously and doing something like this for games and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, the fun has been had on both sides. Everyone was very excited from what I read online from the reactions when it first dropped. I myself loved it too. And I also noticed a lot of people now have the game on their wish list because of Northlane. So you may have converted some new gamers as well. But
That's great.
it's not the first new Northlane material we've had this year. You had Mirror's Edge, of course, drop back in April. Again, bolstering beautiful textures with plenty of that ferocity and a little bit of a shift in terms of finding a bit of hope in the darkness too, which was very nice to see in 2024. I think we all need a little bit of that at times. But now that there's been a few months since its release, how are you finding the EP connects with fans in a live setting? And what does that EP mean to you at this point in time personally?
Yeah, it's been awesome playing those new songs live. We've been playing um more like five of six of them, I guess, and I think it kind of shows um our intention with these songs playing them live and it kind of it feels so much bigger when we get to play these live and I feel like uh we're hearing that a lot from people coming to shows as well that they feel so much like larger than the recordings can even kind of yeah project so um no, it's been really cool to be playing these songs, and it feels like they feel like a lot of fun and like a bit of a different shift in the set when we start to play them. So yeah, no, the EP's been, it's a lot of fun to kind of just once again take everything a little bit less seriously and have a bit more freedom with how we create music.
Yeah, and it still sits so cohesively in your back catalogue. And like I said at the start, you have so many amazing songs to choose from at this point in time and continue to add more to like consistently challenge your set list making decision process. But looking at playing live of late, like what has been a favorite Northlane song to play for you personally? It doesn't even have to be a new one. Like what is one that you just continually find yourself really connecting with and really enjoying on stage?
Well, for the last little bit, we've been playing a song called Nova. I'm not sure if we'll end up playing it at Good Things because it is a bit more of a chill song that might bring the vibe down in the middle of the day. But
Might be needed, who knows?
yeah, who knows? Who knows? But it's a song for me that I guess I wrote during lockdown at a time where I was feeling quite, down on myself and I don't know, it was a good release for me at that time and to be able to play these songs live or a song like that live and see it connecting with people. That's just really meant a lot to me over the last, yeah, like 6 months or longer that we've been playing. So yeah, it's been nice.
Yeah, I'm very glad to hear that. And I think it's nice to see that nuance that Northlane continue to have. And whether you played at the festival or not, at least we know another one that we can pull out another time perhaps for you. Going to the festival vein of things, you're a man who has played your fair share of festivals, even just in this year alone. And I think I'm pretty sure the first time I met you was at a festival at Full Tilt, and that was a fair few years back now. But looking even back to the start of your early festival careers or more recently, like what's a festival moment that instantly springs to mind for you that you will never ever forget, whether it was on stage, off stage? What's an iconic Marcus Northlane festival memory?
Hmm. Well, I think for me it was probably the first Unify. Or it's probably between two different things, I guess. It's probably between the first Unify and the first time we played Download Festival. But for me, the first Unify was like the first time that I was um uh I think it was the first time I played in Australia actually with Northlane. Which funnily enough, it's coming up to like 10 years since I've been in Northlane, which is pretty wild. But that show for me kind of felt like I was accepted by everyone there, and I guess after a hard period of feeling like a bit of an outsider, it was just cool to come back home and feel that. And for me, Download was just one of those um festivals I grew up just dreaming of playing, being in a band, playing those stages. And the first time I played it was like a dream. It was just, yeah, it was like we finally made it over here. So yeah, those two for me are like quite special.
Yeah, and very meaningful. And I dare say you're going to have a lot more to come. But 10 years, where on earth does the time go? My God.
It's wild. Yeah. I actually forgot. I like saw the date today and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like next week. It's been, yeah,
That's
it's wild.
crazy. Isn't it funny? There's a couple, like, I don't know, over the years, I just find more and more, I start to find these anniversaries and I have to get, it's only when I look at my calendar, which is so rare these days, I'm like, oh, damn, it's been this amount of time. So,
I go back and listen to old albums and I'm like, yeah, that's like 10 years old. And then see it's 20 years old. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, where's the time gone?
yeah, to me, the 90s was 10 years ago and I'm sticking to
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Well, to start to finish us up today, I know you touched on the start that there are a couple of bands on this lineup this year at Good Things you're keen on. Who are you most excited to catch live and who are you most excited to hang out with and spend some time with?
Well, I saw on the timetable that Living End are playing right after us. And that makes me so excited. They're one of my favorite bands. It was one of the first CDs I ever bought was like a two for one, like the first two Living End albums. And I don't know, I love that band so much. Who else? I mean, I'm excited to see Sum 41 um for the last time, which is kind of crazy. Um, and also Sleeping with Sirens, they're also like one of my favorite bands from when I was in high school.
Mm.
So hopefully I get to hang out with one of those people
Well, I dare say
if
we
I'm
may
not
be
too
able to.
shy.
Yes, well, I'm sure they'll want to be chatting with you as well, and I'm sure
Oh, we'll see.
there'll be a lot of people vying to see your set. So I think between that, I think we'll have you covered. You'll be fine. Well, and lastly, I've been asking a couple of the artists this, not so much to be nosy, but just get a little bit of a peek inside what goes on off stage. Can you give us a bit of a peek into an essential item that Northlane always have on their rider,
Essential item we always have in our rider.
or one you might want to have at Good Things? We can even invent a new one potentially to add into it.
Mm, it's a good question. I feel like we've like pulled back on our rider a lot lately, so like I can't even think what we have. I feel like we always just have like a boring like fruit platter and stuff. Um,
It's quite a
Honestly,
common one. I'm not gonna lie. It's wholesome and it's healthy.
yeah. I mean, I think we've passed the days of like getting lots of like alcohol and stuff. We're just like we're starting to get older and we're like, okay, we just need the fruit and veg. So we're getting there.
Yeah, no, and I think it's sustaining and it means that we get kick-ass performances on stage. So I'm all for it and I support this. And I dare say you'll be looked after well at Good Things. We can make sure this happens.
Lovely, lovely.
Hey, well, it's not long now until we can catch Northlane commanding the main stage for Good Things Festival. Marcus, thank you for your time today, and we will see you in December.
My pleasure. See you then.